Hi everyone, my name is Swati, and I'll be talking to you today about social comparison, the looking glass self, and vulnerable target markets in consumer behavior. First, let's take a look at some key marketing concepts that will help us understand what role they play in marketing campaigns. What is social comparison? Social comparison is the process through which people come to know themselves by evaluating their own attitudes, abilities, and beliefs in comparison to others. This theory centers on the belief that there is a drive within individuals to gain accurate self-evaluations. Self-evaluations tend to be more stable and accurate when comparisons are made in reference to someone who is similar, rather than when there are just large discrepancies between oneself and others. Individuals compare themselves to people who are better in order to advance or self-improve. As a result of social comparison theory, people determine their own social worth and are constantly making self evaluations and evaluations of others. The third motivation of social comparison is related to self improvement. One factor that has been considered a central contributor to body image is social comparison. Body image is an important aspect of self representation and self evaluation during adolescence. The importance of body image is evident in its relationship to risk status for eating disorders, depression, and low self esteem. There are two types of social comparisons: upward and downward social comparison. Upward social comparison is when people compare themselves to those they believe are better than them. In cases where individuals are seeking to self improve, these comparisons are often made with others who are better off or superior. Downward social comparison is when people compare themselves to others that are worse off or perceived to be less inferior or less advantaged. As a result of social comparison theory, people determine their own social worth and are constantly making self evaluations and evaluations of others. Self improvement is created from upward comparisons to others. The issue is whether the comparison would force one to face their inferiority. The target of the comparison has to be a non-competitor so that the upward comparison is considered inspiring rather than threatening. Many of the self-improvement motivations resulted in wanting to improve physical attractiveness. Female adolescents who compare their physical appearance to models in advertisements suggest that the girls showed self-improvement and aspirations to be like the models. The next concept is the looking glass self. The main point of this concept is that people shape their self-concepts based on how their understanding of how others perceive them. This is a three-step process that first starts with how we imagine how others see us. And then you move on to we imagine how others are judging us. And then in the final step, we react accordingly. We change our behavior based on how we feel we're being perceived by others in society. As we learned in class, vulnerable target consumers typically include consumers that are disadvantaged or vulnerable in some marketplace situations. These groups can be those of low income, they can be old or young, they could be minorities, or even from certain religious groups. So what makes consumers vulnerable? Consumers that have a lack of experience or education lead to poor judgment, limited choice options, and limited ability to obtain/use relevant information. Children have always been an important marketing target for certain kinds of products. However, in recent times, more and more marketing efforts are being focused on children. Generally, their knowledge is less developed and limited about the products, media, advertisements, and the selling strategies adopted by the firms. Let's take a look at how these marketing concepts are portrayed in a few marketing campaigns. First, we'll take a look at the Always Like a Girl campaign. Always is a brand of feminine hygiene products produced by Procter & Gamble. They created the Like a Girl campaign targeted to girls, to young women, and their mothers. Always used a vulnerable target consumer group, but targeted them in a positive way. The mission of the campaign was to encourage girls everywhere to embrace failure as a fuel, to build confidence, and keep going like a girl. Always was looking for a way to appeal to the next generation of consumers in the face of growing competition from rivals. The challenge was to build a fresh and more meaningful understanding of confidence which would resonate with the next generation of consumers. The commercial was full of negativity and perpetuates the stereotype that the way women do things is inferior to the way men do them. Always took the phrase like a girl and turned the phrase that was once an insult into an empowering message. Let's watch the commercial.
Hi, Aaron. Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. Over here. me what it looks like to fight like a girl. Now throw like a girl.
Aw.
So do you think you just insulted your sister?
No. I mean, yeah, insulted girls, but not my sister.
My name is Dakota, and I'm 10 years old.
Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. Throw like a girl. Fight like a girl. What does it mean to you when I say run like a girl?
It means run fast as you can.
Always created this campaign to explore social comparisons. Women, boys, and men all behaved in a silly and self-deprecating way, acting out the insulting stereotype, but when the young girls were asked the same questions, they reacted completely differently. They ran and fought and hit as hard as they could, with confidence. Social comparison processes are used to inform identity development. If we go back to the social comparison theory and the looking glass self, we see how Always is showing us how we are constantly making self-evaluations and evaluations of others based on how we see ourselves and how others see us. This example of upward social comparison is to combat girls' self-esteem issues when they hit adolescence, and often when their confidence is low, always wondering what others think of them. How do my parents see me? How does my brother see me? Or how do my peers at school see me? The goal of the brand in this commercial is to challenge the long-standing belief about social roles, responsibilities that are expected from us based on gender. It's important and empowers girls and others to think of you the way you think of yourself. The Twitter page was rebranded to show females in different scenarios overcoming social comparisons in their sport, industry, and field. Society constantly dwells on the differences between genders, sending out the message that leadership, power, and strength are for men, not for women, and that boys should be raised not to be a girl, as if being female was not good enough. Always could help change that, but simply raising awareness about the confidence drop and its causes would not be enough. A cultural change was needed for this campaign to really be effective. Next, we'll take a look at Under Armour, a company best known for targeting males, especially young aspiring male athletes, with their football and basketball ads. Under Armour created the I Will What I Want campaign to target a new demographic, women. The I Will What I Want campaign was designed to attract athletic women and inspire young female athletes. In this campaign, females are the vulnerable target consumer. Under Armour set out to avoid creating situations of vulnerability by inclusion and accessibility and not exclusion and alienation. Let's take a look.
Dear candidate, unfortunately, you have not been accepted. You lack the right feet, turnout, torso length, and bust for ballet. And at 13, you are too old to be considered.
The rejection letter Misty Copeland reads in the ad sets out to alienate and exclude her because her body isn't the typical ballerina's body. Copeland unapologetically proves that inner strength can trump fate. The campaign shows Copeland using her will to tune out society's standards to achieve her dreams. Social comparison theory is not always a negative topic. Sometimes the viewers just aspire to be like the model or the person in the advertisement. The female viewer will engage in upward social comparison by comparing herself to the athlete, who is considered inspiring and courageous for pursuing her goals despite society telling her she isn't good enough. The female viewer will want to be like the female athlete with similar athletic aspirations. The campaign went on to feature other women with diverse cultural backgrounds who speak to the hurdles they had to overcome to reach success. By creating and empowering a beautiful space for Under Armour's women's brand to grow. The I Will What I Want campaign speaks to women who do not wait for permission, advice, or affirmation from others in order to go after what they want. These women are rising above the labels placed on them by society and how others see them by going after what they want and not being held by society's norm. The targeting females in this campaign proved to be a winning strategy for Under Armour. Do you think Always and Under Armour were successful in creating campaigns to help young girls determine their own self-worth by giving them the confidence to go after their dreams?